Hey folks, Scott from Grey Ghost Gardening. I've got a little project this morning, bright and early on a Sunday. I've got a couple of 3 fig trees over here in this jumble pile of avocado, lemon, olive, and fig trees that I need to up pot into these larger containers. These are containers that I think they're 8-gallon containers, and I found them online. I'll put a link in the description if anybody's interested. They're square containers, and I have seen some of the much more expert people in the fig community suggest that roots for figs would actually grow best in square or rectangular containers, and so I'm giving this a whirl. And then the other thing too is I found these in white as opposed to black, and so I'll be interested to see how these do with the heat. You know, I'm in 9A down here, Southeast Texas. We get hot. We get real hot. My trusty companion, Cosmo the Wonder Pup, making his cameo appearance. That's who my garden is named after. He is my gray ghost. And so I've got this tree here. Unfortunately, it woke up, or starting to wake up already, because I would ideally like to trim or prune this middle piece here, because it's already got a real nice basket shaping up, but there's already sap flowing, and so I talked myself out of it. I'm probably going to pinch off everything up here to redirect some of the flow, and then I'll do this. I'll get rid of this here next year so that the top is nice and open. But this is a Verdino del Nord fig tree right here, and then back over here I've got my Santa Rita, which produced just incredible figs for me last year. And then I have I don't know if you say panache, or yeah, I think that's how you say it, panache or panache tiger, a variegated fig right here. It's really waking up quick. All of them are. It was over 80 degrees here in Southeast Texas last week for multiple days. So what have I got here? There's my mixing tub. I've got pine bark fines. This is sold as soil conditioner in my area. This is actually kind of a challenge to find here in this part of the world. And I am using the recipe that I found on Fig Bids. If you go to Fig Bids, they have a link at the top menu bar to various articles from everything, you know, how to bid, how to root cuttings, how to take care of rooted cuttings, all of this kind of stuff. There's a ton of information. And so they also have a formula for a potting mix for when it comes time to up pot your figs. And so that's what I'm using. These are pine bark fines. But again, in my part of the world, it's sold as soil conditioner. I've got a 5-gallon bucket full of peat, all right, sphagnum peat moss. Now this is actually Promix, so there is also a little bit of perlite in there, some mycorrhiza, and that kind of stuff. I have additional perlite, and then I've got lime right here that is going in there. A little bit of an all-purpose fertilizer, and I'm also going to add some worm castings just to further try to improve the soil structure and the environment there inside. Let me get this all mixed up, and then we'll come back. So I just wanted to show you what these pine bark fines, what that looks like right here. This may not be a big enough tub. I may have to do this in 2 batches, but that's fine. All right, I finally got my big batch of potting mix all consolidated here. And so what I'm going to do now is start seeing how high I want the top of the figs to be here, and putting the necessary soil down in the bottom. So I may have to do some work on the roots here with this one, just based on what I felt right there. Yeah, see, look there. I've got roots coming through the bottom, but that's good. It's not root bound, so I'm not too worried about breaking it up. But the one thing that I want to be sure of when I get this seeded in here is that I don't have big air pockets. So this actually isn't going to take a whole lot for this one. There's one. Easy enough. No big deal. So let's this is my Santa Rita here. And beautiful, fantastic fig. Roots coming out of the bottom down here as well. That one, did I want it higher? I think I want it a little higher. Sorry, bud. Thought I had enough in there. Settles, it could very well be the case that I have to come back and you know, add maybe just a tiny little bit more. The one thing you don't want to do, well, you can see it, you know, I don't want to set the plant in there so low that I build soil up. That's not what I'm going for here. I want to keep it at the same level where it was in the smaller container, and that's what it looks like I've got going here. All right, there we go. And one more. So this one is only a 3 gallon, and I'm jumping it all the way up to this, but I think this one is ready. My panache, I believe, is ready to explode. And so I'm going to go ahead and bump it up to a bigger container. You know, there's a lot of, I guess, direction about how you step them up. You step the figs up gradually, so that, you know, you want to give the roots a little bit more room, but not too much room. And the whole idea or justification, reason, I guess, behind that is so that, you know, they don't put all of their energy into growing roots at this point. They you know, they have a little bit of breathing room, and then they put more effort into fruit and foliage and all of that. But in the case of this panache, it I think is ready to really take off. So I'm gonna move it up to the next bigger size, or jump the size, I should say. You can see it's already really awake here. Next year, depending on everything that happens this year, it's gonna probably need a little bit more sculpting, or ideally I would like this to be coming more that way, but that will be for a later day. Let's see what happens with it all this year. And look at the roots on this thing. I'm clearly late getting these out. I want to be gentle so that I don't tear them. Come on, babies. There we go. So yeah, I'd say the roots are doing okay here with this one. So I can put a little bit more in there. You're gonna like your new house. And whenever you do repot, see, like right now, if I set it in there, it'd be tilted off to the side. So now is the time to adjust and to try to get as upright a growth habit as you can from that main trunk. And so I'm going to, add a little bit more here on this particular side, let it kind of get underneath there so that it will still needs a little bit more adjustment. Doesn't have to be perfect, right? But if we can make it look as good as we can, why not, when we have the opportunity? So all right, so like I said, I'm going to water these in, and then I may have to top off just a little bit, but he's still not quite in there as tight as I want it to be. So, if you are here in Southeast Texas and you're wanting this this soil mixture, this soil formula, again, I didn't create it. I used it from FigBid, and just figbid.com, and then there's a link to articles, and scroll down and you'll see the potting mix. And I don't even think they created this formula mix. I think they took it off of a blog from somebody else. So everybody, it's common knowledge. It's okay. You're not hurting anybody's feelings if you go in there and use this formula. If you prefer something else, hey, knock it out. It was a challenge to find pine bark finds here, where I was, and it. On a couple of Facebook groups that I'm a part of, some people directed me to this soil conditioner. The name of the company is Landscaper's Pride,
and they're up in New Waverly, Texas. And so there are not all that many places that I found that actually carry this. Nonetheless, it's not expensive, and it's really nice. And so if you're in Southeast Texas and you're wanting to go find this, message me in the comments, and I'll be happy to tell you where I went to go get it. The last thing that I'll end up doing once I'm done watering it all in and all that kind of stuff, I'll put some wood chips up here on top, basically as a mulch, and that will also really help hold in moisture as temperatures warm up. But I'm excited. My cuttings inside, so far, the ones that I've got in there seem to be, some of them really seem to be cooking along pretty good. I've got roots on a number of them. I'm starting to get some green pushing out of the top, so that's real exciting. And I'm going to put a little bit more soil on top of this one here. It's not quite even. And then I'll water these in good, and we're off to the next chore for today. So thanks. Hope everybody has a great day, and I hope your figs are waking up and coming to life.
And so here's the finished product real quick. I went on ahead, I got a little olive tree and up potted, and I just used the same mix. And then here are my figs in their new homes. I hope that I like these. They drain really well. This is the Santa Rita right here, and it's trying to start doing some things. Here is the Verdino del Nord, and look at there, already getting a little figlet. And then the Panache is just going to town, budding out really nice. And then I have here a little green Ischia, and I moved it up to next bigger pot. I'm not happy with the way the trunk is grown. Once this kind of settles in here a little bit better, I intend to tighten this to try to see if I can straighten it a little bit. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. This is a brand new little tree, basically a year old. Maybe, no, not even a year, half a year. And so that's that. Avocados, look at here. Avocados are getting ready to bloom. This is my Leela. So I'm anticipating avocados off of her this year. And then over here is her boyfriend, Joey. And he is not quite yet ready to put out blooms, but that's all right. I got fruit off of him last year, first time. And so that was really exciting. He's got some kind of funky growth back here. He got hammered in a freeze that I thought I had him protected in, and he wasn't several years ago. And so that really stunted his growth and development, but he seems to be doing pretty good right now. So we'll see how these go. Anyways, like I said, a lot of stuff happening, so a lot of fun. Everybody have a wonderful day.